Hello, my name is Chris Roman and this is video number 3, The Future. Right now I'm in Auburn Hills, Michigan, in front of the Fiat Chrysler headquarters, one of the big 3 automakers located in the Metro Detroit area, which brings me to the subject of my video right now, which is going to be on cars, specifically vehicle emissions and what policymakers are doing right now and looking to do in the future about them. So back in 2012, the Obama administration worked with California and the auto industry to craft a uniform set of national fuel efficiency standards. The standard was set so that vehicles built from 2020 to 2026 would eventually reach fuel efficiency of 54.5 miles per gallon by the end of 2025. Regulators have argued that requiring more fuel-efficient videos would improve public health, combat climate change, and save consumers money without compromising safety. Currently, vehicles are responsible for up to 50% of the pollution in major metro areas where a lot of vehicles are driven, including the Metro Detroit area. After taking over, the Trump administration quickly rolled back these regulations. The federal government with the EPA justified by arguing that forcing automakers to increase fuel economy to those levels would make new vehicles more expensive and encourage people to drive older, less safe cars. And in a joint publication by the EPA and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, they estimated that halting these fuel efficiency targets at 2020 levels would save $500 billion in societal costs and avert thousands of highway fatalities and save an estimated $2,300 on new cars. However, they also acknowledge that easing these standards would increase the U.S. fuel consumption and lead to an increase in greenhouse gas emissions. These rollbacks were condemned by public health experts and environmental groups, arguing that if health ignores health benefits from the increase in these efficiency standards. Paul Court, a lawyer with the group Earth Justice, wrote that by 2030, the pollution equivalent of this rollback will be likely firing up 30 additional coal power plants. And the state of California has threatened legal action, enacting their own standard for their own state, which is to concern automakers like Chrysler, is that setting different fuel economy standards in different states could be a nightmare for the auto industry, as they'd have to build vehicles specific for different regions. And they have publicly stated and stressed that they continue to support the Obama standard of fuel economy increases for this reason. Automakers need a single national program that requires regulatory certainty that maintains vehicle affordability. And on the global scale, world leaders are increasingly pushing for electric cars to both lower emissions and cut dependency on oil. Britain's Theresa May's government produced a Road to Zero strategy, which outlined how the UK planned to reach a goal of ending the sale of petrol and diesel cars and vans by 2040. And the European Union as a whole this week will hold a meeting discussing the future of their own vehicle efficiency policies, with some ambitious proposals ahead, with lawmakers voting for a 20% cut in emissions through 2025 and a 40% cut in emissions by 2030, which auto industries like Chrysler, Fiat have a keen eye on. Clearly, the pulse of the world sides more with the Obama policy on vehicle emissions more so than the Trump rollbacks. And from my personal perspective, so do I. I personally side with both the Obama standard and the auto industry, that cutting emissions and setting universal standards is a good thing for both the environment, public health, and the industry as a whole. And I think the stakeholders for this are pretty vast. Obviously, vehicle emissions affect everybody, especially those that live in areas with heavy vehicle traffic. And it also affects consumers, as the majority of people either own a vehicle or will probably purchase or lease a vehicle in the future. And it also affects auto workers, as these standards have a positive or negative effect on the industry and the areas like this. And a lot of people around here work in the auto industry. I have family members that work in the auto industry, so it does affect me personally. And that's the end of the video.